Okay, hello again. Um, so one of the statements that were muffled was that I was explaining King Nebuchadnezzar's statue and the kingdoms foretold of there in Daniel's um, dream revelation, I guess. No, it was King Nebuchadnezzar's dream, and then Daniel went to go pray about it, and then he was able to tell King Nebuchadnezzar what his dream was and be able to interpret those dreams. Um, and in the dream there was a statue, and the head was made of gold, and the arms were made of brass or something to this effect, or there was a brass plate or something over the chest, and then the legs were made of iron, and the feet were made of iron and clay, and then came a rock that hit, just a small rock that hit the legs of iron, and the entire statue came tumbling down. Um, so each metal represented a kingdom that would take over the kingdoms before it. And King Nebuchadnezzar was the head of gold. So that was the flattery. I kept Daniel's head on. And but yeah, so the king had this dream, and Daniel had to tell King Nebuchadnezzar what his dream was, and then he analyzed the dream. And so what I was suggesting was that that these powers have never gone away. Okay, they're still with us in the feet of iron and clay. So where iron and clay do not mix, okay, that would be the legs of Rome, and then it gets to be the feet of iron and clay through the Christian movement, right? And so that the effects of this kingdom have never really gone away. These kingdoms all carry the same spirit, the same or similar kinds of practices, and and this is how the Freemasonry and Illuminati kind of raised up in the Roman Catholic Church. Well, they got into the Vatican, but the Vatican was open to them, you see, because the Vatican represents the feet of iron and clay. I mean, iron and clay do not mix. So the Vatican has to choose. Are they going to be the iron, or are they going to be the clay? No, they are a successor of very much of what Constantine stood for in his empire, which was both of iron and of clay. He was a successor of the iron, and he became the clay. And I guess the iron and clay were a mix, and it just kind of never went away. So the Vatican was open to somehow, in its spiritual state, its political or spiritual state, was open to accepting the movement of Freemasonry and the Illuminati. Of course, the Jesuits changed the Illuminati, so I think Freemasonry was a separate organization, and eventually the 33rd degree Freemasonry shook hands with the Illuminati. I just But once you get to be 33rd degree Freemason, then you can become an Illuminati priest. They used to be antagonistic powers, and now they're like friends. So, what do I want to say about this? So we were talking about last video. Oh yeah. So what I gathered from my spiritual direction was that there is a certain amount of misguided compassion for the person of Satan. The Satanic occult, I think, that came through the Illuminati, and because they eventually, when you get to be 33rd degree Masonry, it's broken to you that you've been worshiping Lucifer. So there's a misguided compassion going on for Satan. They think that he could be redeemed. There are people in the clergy of the Roman Catholic Church, I've heard this with the Seventh-day Adventist pastor as well, is a misguided compassion for the person of Satan. They think that he can be redeemed. And I've been open to that compassion too. I mean, wouldn't that be nice if he repented? It must be awful, heartbreaking that, a covering cherub rebelled against God in heaven, and, the Lord isn't over it. If he were over it, why would he allow Satan to roam the world, And why would he? But there are different philosophies about it, see. And it's very human and naive to come up with these philosophies. But I'm saying, okay, so this is probably how one thing led to another through the creeping compromise, and they had this misguided compassion for the fallen angel, and then it went from compassion hoping to redeem him to really identifying with his position and thinking that he was wrong, to be pushed out of heaven because he had an opinion, right? And so with their naivete, they're not understanding how can you have compassion upon somebody you don't know? The people that have compassion on this major felon, do not understand who it is they're having compassion upon. And you should not be. So that's how it happened with the Satanic occult, probably, right? It's not just in your own personal life you're angry with God, or you might be angry with God because things are not going right, but you're blaming the wrong person, and you're not understanding what's happening, and one thing leads to another, and you end up thinking that Lucifer was the good guy, right? And so, or it could just be like curiosity too. Try something different. Could be just a curiosity for eccentricism. And so people don't know what they're doing, and they play with fire, and once they go there, there's like no getting out. It's really a bad, bad, bad system. And you think, well, it's not the devil that's bad, it's the people that are bad. I don't know. I don't know. Is it possible for people to be that bad? I mean, we're talking really, really, really bad. So, I mean, there are subjects on the YouTube I can't even watch. Right. It's just like, I'll start to, like, oh God, I can't. It's like, it's important to review some of it because you're talking about, it's our responsibility to defend children that are being kidnapped. Um, but this is major, major, major bad, bad beyond belief, and I don't think it's possible for people to be this bad. I think there's something else going on. So yeah, don't dabble with that. You don't have compassion for a fallen angel you know nothing about. And I think that's probably what has happened, is that a misguided compassion for the story. And how do you choose the right side? Well, Christ became flesh. He became one of us, right? So why not have compassion on the Christ angel that was wronged? Why have compassion for an angel that crucified Jesus Christ? The other thing is that people think, some of them think that Lucifer and Jesus Christ are one and the same person. But these people who think that Lucifer and Jesus Christ are one and the same person um, end up becoming enemies of Jesus Christ. So I'm telling you, they're not the same people. And Jesus is called Emmanuel, and Lucifer was his enemy. Jesus Christ saw him thrown out of heaven and hurled down to the earth like a bolt of lightning, just tossed out of heaven, right? Jesus Christ denounced him and said he was a liar and a murderer from the beginning. St. Paul called him a defeated foe. But Jesus Christ was not the defeated foe. Jesus Christ was raised from the dead, and not like a zombie, not like a man-eating zombie. I'm not even that, and I'm the walking undead, because my soul was taken out of body through the outer space and returned. But I'm not in my resurrected state. I'm the undead, but I'm not a man-eating zombie. And so Jesus Christ was not a man-eating zombie. That's not the kind of resurrection we're talking about. We're talking about a resurrection with a transfiguration, right? Remember when Jesus Christ was transfigured on Mount Tabor? He was all glistening, and that's probably why that happened on Mount Tabor. So that when there were rumors of the resurrection, people would not think of him as a man-eating zombie. We probably had stories like that back when. And so he wanted people to understand that he was, his resurrection was a different state from those kinds of myths. It was a glorified state, the way he appeared on Mount Tabor when he was transfigured with bright light. Okay.